Hi everyone, Doothany Wet Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Trippie Red project, Mansion Musik. This is the newest full-length LP from rapper, singer, songwriter, and Ohio native Mr. Trippie Red, who I'm just not sure what to expect from at this point. He's been making waves in the industry for over 5 years now. Originally broke through on a lot of emo trap and SoundCloud aesthetics that were popular in the mid to late 2010s, and became one of the most relevant figures in these genres, partially by outlasting a lot of his competition, but also by making some pretty genre-defining projects, such as A Love Letter to You 3, as well as his commercial debut, Life's a Trip. But since the release of those records, Trippie's artistic trajectory has been volatile and at points borderline insane. There was Exclamation Point, which was so messy and low effort, it was pretty much a non-starter. Then we had the extremely bloated and unflattering Pegasus, which was eventually followed by the double album Pegasus Experience, like the expanded edition with the Neon Shark record that was essentially an entire pop-punk album produced by Travis Barker. Trippie did deliver a relative return to form with Trip at Night, but Mansion Musik sees him going in a different direction once again. It is a change of pace, but maybe a necessary one, as a lot of that emo trap stuff that Trippie originally made his name on is not hitting culturally in the way that it used to. The young demographic he once appealed to has since moved on or embraced this new wave of rage music that has been spearheaded by Mr. Playboi Carti. Trippie Red has obviously been open to embracing this sound. I think he made that much clear when he dropped that Miss the Rage cut featuring Playboi Carti in 2021, and now he's just going full throttle into this sound with Mansion Musik. The kind of lo-fi, distorted, cycling, repetitive, and synthy beats that fans went crazy for on Carti's Whole Lotta Red also are featured on this new Trippie project, and he sounds pretty good over them with his punk-tinged flow and delivery, especially on the opener where the 808s are booming and the synths here are particularly spooky and fuzzy. Plus that Elmo line from Trippie is pretty hilarious too. Trippie also couldn't sound more natural than he does paired with the chugging metal riffs on the cut Crazy Train, which also features Travis Scott, even if the side-chained compression on that cut is so insane to the point where as soon as that bass hits, it just swallows the guitars entirely. Like, even when the beats on this thing are disgustingly derivative, such as in the case of Who Else, which pretty much sounds like a Whole Lotta Red instrumental, he sounds, again, like a natural fit. Now, if he focused on this sound with a tight track list and consistently well put together production, I think he could have had one of the better albums in this field with Mansion Musik. But instead, what we end up getting is this bloated 25-track 76-minute mess that has all of these flatlined features and unnecessary filler. For example, Trippie doubles up on a handful of features with this LP that he just didn't need to. We didn't need the track Fully Loaded with Future because Psycho, just before it with Future, is obviously the superior song with the better Future feature and the better chorus. The same goes for Lil Baby, who also appears on that track, but with the song Dark Brotherhood, he has a much better and rawer vocal performance. We didn't need the track Atlantis with Chief Keef because later on the LP, Rock Out, which also features Chief Keef, is once again the better cut with a better Keef feature with way less awkward flows. His voice without the auto-tune too just sounds much more natural, organic, and exciting. So there's that. Then there are other features on the LP that are pretty much just duds and hold the quality of these songs back. I'm not going to beat around the bush because the sloppy and squeaky vocal
inflections
from Summers on the track Big Bird, they suck. DaBaby, despite a few variations on None, pretty much brings the same flow that we're all tired of hearing at this point. The track Colors featuring Kodak Black is pretty sleepy from start to finish. I think the fact that it is so low-key gives Kodak to be more unimpressive than he usually is. I don't know who Fiji Macintosh is, but his delivery is so generic and low-key that no doubt I will not remember him the next time I see his name turn up on a feature. Rilo Rodriguez sounds like someone doing a Future parody That's pretty bad, which is sad because the watery synth cycles and anthemic chorus on this particular track are pretty sick. And while Nardo Wick didn't exactly exceed my expectations on the song Goodfellas, what really grabbed my attention on this track is how awful the freaking beat is. Who produced it? The 808s and the hi-hats are so damn sporadic, it sounds like something you would produce like high at 3 a.m. thinking it sounds cool, and you get this instead when you wake up sober the next morning to put it on. Yeah, there's just a lot of appearances on this thing that don't really improve the overall quality of the record. Though I guess I could understand why Trippie would want to tag someone in on some of these cuts, because what few solo moments we do get here, such as Killionaire and Free Rio, they're not exactly highlights. But when a good appearance does show up on this record, they kind of tend to steal the show, be it Lil Durk on Muscles or Herbo on Pure. There's also Ski Mask the Slump God on the pretty hilarious Toilet Water. And maybe the most amazing crossover has to be Swag Like Ohio Part 2, featuring the bass god Lil B, where Lil B and Trippie kind of trade respectively their own styles. Trippie comes through with all these like classic Lil B flows and ad-libs. Lil B's voice is absolutely soaked in auto-tune. The trade-off is pretty fun, works, and I think it functions as kind of a co-homage. Lil B obviously paying tribute to a lot of the new sounds and trends in hip-hop today, and Trippie clearly being a student of the bass god's work. Then Nightcrawler has to be one of the best posthumous Juice WRLD features I've heard ever. There are a few bum lines in his verse, such as the Verizon one, for example, but his vocal performance, the leads throughout his verse, are pretty fiery. But yeah, overall, if I had to assess this project, it is, despite its best efforts to make some headway within this, rage sound, this rage genre, it's just basic and bloated. There are too many damn tracks on this project. Even the most hardcore Trippie fans know he does not have 25 great tracks in him in a single album cycle. And even the moments on this LP that are good, and there are some good tracks here, aren't exactly reinventing the wheel or doing anything above and beyond. Really just meeting some minimum requirements. Though I will say that Trippie's voice hits pretty hard in this style, in this trend, in this context, harder than even some of the artists that Playboi Carti is currently putting on through his label. Maybe that's enough to result in a few fiery tracks here and there on this record, but an entire album of 76 minutes in length, it's falling quite short. It's just not enough to bring us to the goal line there. But yeah, even with some highlights, this record is just too inconsistent, too all over the place, too bloated, too feeling a light to decent 5 on this one. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head, it's another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Trippie Red, forever.